Thank you. This is a great group to see here. Thanks for being here this morning. I think what I'm going to do is just give a few general remarks and then open it up to questions because that's the most helpful to get to the things that are on your mind. I really do appreciate people who are focused on sustainability and particularly how you build an economy around it. I just was in Grand Junction and Olathe and Montrose yesterday. We were doing a few different things, but we wound up in Montrose and really had the opportunity to be with some of the folks from what's called the Delta Montrose Electrical Association. It's an energy co-op in the southwest part of the state, and they're just these enlightened people that have a real sense about different ways to attain sustainability and using an electrical co-op to do it. And it was really exciting to be as far away as I was from the Capitol, not because the Capitol's a bad place, only because we were that far away and people were talking our language. I had the opportunity as a governor in a swing state to be with Barack Obama a lot in the months of really September and October. Kept coming to Colorado and even had the opportunity to talk to him directly about this, and said at one point in time when he's talking about green jobs that I thought he should change the language a little bit. And Senator Salazar and I were together talking to him and said, really talk about clean energy jobs and talk about a new energy economy. We had used that line really to describe what we were about in 2006 when I was running for governor, that you could build jobs around a different energy vision. And it didn't mean that one had to exist in lieu of the other, that you had to totally do away with the traditional energy economy to go in the direction of a clean energy economy, that there was a meshing point, and right now is the meshing point where you would build these two economies, and certainly where natural gas is concerned, I think it's going to be part of our energy future for a very long time. I would argue that there is such a thing as clean coal, and it can be part of our energy future as well for a very long time, but at the same time, that to really focus on sustainability, we needed to focus on renewable energy technologies, to focus on efficiencies, and to create an economy doing that. And he now uses the line, a new energy economy. So what we say is we know that we think we invented it because we Googled it, right? And there's nobody who said new energy economy altogether before we did. So we think we invented the term, but we didn't patent it because we don't get paid for it every time Barack Obama says it, which is fine, right? They say if it's a good idea, it's not larceny. Calling this a new energy economy and thinking about sustainability and building jobs around that is really the way to think about how we chart a clean energy future. You can see this in his stimulus package. You can see this in the Obama package, the reinvestment package that's going to come our way. It's called a lot of different things. Both the House and the Senate now have versions, and in both of those versions, although there's different funding levels, is this notion that part of what we're trying to inspire when we do job creation is an industry that's focused on sustainability practices, and that has a broad way of thinking in this administration. It's not just about building wind turbines or building solar. It's also about geothermal. It's about geotransfer systems. But it's also about weatherization, about efficiencies, about finding ways to really, as a country, change the culture of how we behave where energy practice is concerned. And this is a very exciting thing for me as a governor, because in the last 2 years, we have moved the ball. We think we've moved the ball down the field a lot where sustainability is concerned, and we're creating an economy around it is concerned. One of the first things we did, as you probably know, is double the renewable portfolio standard. But in doubling the renewable portfolio standard, suddenly we had a lot of different companies paying attention to Colorado, and even companies making significant investments in Colorado because public policy was moving in the right direction. So Vestas decides to move 2,500 jobs here over a couple of years because we are making this commitment, this sound commitment to really going forward and getting to 20% renewable by 2020. And now we have 4 different manufacturing plants, 2,500 new jobs, great jobs, building the wind blades, the nacelles, and building wind towers down in Pueblo, Colorado, the largest tower manufacturing plant in the world in Pueblo, Colorado. And it's been a long time since the governor had gone to Colorado with that kind of news around job creation. And so that's really what we're keeping our focus on, is how we put in place policies that help us move in the right direction, but at the same time create an economy around it. ConocoPhillips made a decision to move its global research project for alternative fuels to Colorado. Over time, it's also going to co-locate its global leadership training program, but that facility out at Storage Tech, where they bought that camp and where they're going to, or that campus, they're going to put jobs there. It's ultimately going to be thousands of jobs. We have the best research corridor in the world on renewable energy. You say, well, how do you know that? It's because I've said it a couple times around the world and no one's ever disagreed with me. Well, that's true. I was in Madrid, I was in China, I was in Japan, I was in Oslo, Norway, and I said, we have the best, and they agree. NREL is maybe the best facility in the world for renewable energy technologies. I happen to know a little bit about the work they're doing at NREL, went to the Spanish version of that, and NREL's way ahead in terms of some of the things that we're doing as it relates to both solar and wind. Siemens, a German company, moves its international wind research facility to Colorado. And again, creates jobs, creates good jobs. And if you keep seeing sort of the private sector and the public sector move on the research and development end, and then the manufacturing sector come here as well, you get this sense that it's not just about sustainability, it's also about economic development, and these two things fit together. And I really believe that the president gets this, that's why it's showing up in this reinvestment package at the level that it is. We in Colorado are experiencing it. And you know, there's a lot going on, and so it's a very dynamic process, but the end game has to be about sustainability. It really has to be about the things that we need to do to ensure that our planet is at a different place than it would be in 2050 if we don't take the actions. I mean, we really have to focus on carbon emissions as a way to clean up the atmosphere. And if you saw the report that was released yesterday, the primary author was Susan Solomon, released a report saying, listen, we're not going to turn this off overnight. It's not like other forms of pollution where you can quit emitting and the pollution clears up. It's not like that. There's, 285 parts per billion of carbon dioxide in the air, and with that, it will be a very long time to actually reverse the effects of that. We've got to stop emitting. We have to stop over time emitting, but to reverse the effects of that are going to be very difficult and a longer period of time, and that's why it's more imperative than I think it's been before for us to really act on the science, to act in a way that says public policy has to support sustainability, and just to move in that direction as a country and state by state. The things that we can do would be, I think, really helpful to the president, the things that we're already doing and the things that we can do in the future. So